Well, hello everybody. Welcome to Redneckanize, the home of the do-it-yourself trucker. When everything goes wrong, you gotta Redneckanize. What's going on, truckers? Thanks for watching. Today I'd like to try to explain the interaxle differential lock and how it relates to the driving of a dual drive axle tractor. It's a big part of our daily routine out there on the highway, and we'd like to know a little bit more about it so that we'd be able to handle it better out there on the road. But first, I'd like to thank this week's sponsor, Trucker Tools, the Trucker Tools app. Now, if you guys haven't seen this yet, it works out pretty cool. It really works really well because the drivers can leave reviews of the truck stops and update status on weigh stations, whether they're open or closed. It's just like Redneckanize. It works really well when truckers are out there helping each other. So check out their website at truckertools.com, and I'll post a link to their app in the comments below. Now check them out, Trucker Tools, the app for truckers. Now most drivers will tell you getting down the highway is the easy part, but we've all come across it where we get into either a muddy area in the yard or a truck stop, or having to make a delivery and back into the dock where it might slope down and we are an uneven surface, or we have to back off the street onto a curb and we get off the ground a little bit, and it really irritates us when we have to keep pulling up and pulling down because we get high centered and we'll start spinning out. And that's where our power divider, our interaxle differential lockers, can come in to help us out. Yeah, most truckers will tell you, been there, done that. So most of everyone knows that the differential allows the power to divide equally between the two axles, but allows for the one axle to move freely, quicker or slower than the other one. The only problem is if you get one axle up off the ground, then the other axle will just stop moving and all the power will be sent to the axle with the least resistance. Basically what it does. That is the interaxle differential, the power divider. So what we do is that we know that it's common that one of the axles might get lifted off the ground at one point or another. So every single truck that has two drive axles, power being given to both axles, will have an interaxle differential locker. When you put that locker in, what that does is that sends power equally to both axles. Now, don't mistake this for evenly to both sides of the axle. You're still going to have the same slippage between the two wheels on one axle. I've had this happen before where I've gotten into some of the rough off-road surfaces, and down in Florida, you get over there where they've got that paper mill. I forgot the town of it, but they had it was most sand, and sure enough, the power started slipping in between the two axles. I threw in the locker. Both axles started spinning equally, but then I started slipping on two of the wheels. So then I had two wheels stuck and two wheels spinning. One spinning on one axle and the other spinning on the other axle. So having the differential lock did not help me in that case. It was always going to happen because the lock between the differential was not there. Most trucks do not have any type of locking for each individual differential. Trucks that have that are basically have to be spec for it specifically. The types of trucks you might see are the ones that go off-roading, like in the oil field or in construction vehicles, or maybe up northwest where they deal with a lot of snow and ice in the mountains. Those trucks will have either 2 or 3 switches. One switch will lock the interaxle power divider. The other 2, or just one, with either one switch to lock both axles or one switch for each axle. And that way you would be able to lock the differential, and it's kind of like positive traction where it sends power equally between the two wheels on one axle. So for new drivers out there, the interaxle differential lock needs to be thrown in when you approach the uneven terrain or muddy surfaces. You want to be able to anticipate or see up ahead. I'm about to turn into some type of dirt lot. Let me go ahead and throw my locker in. Or it's raining and the dirt lot is muddy. Let me throw my divider in. Or I'm having to back in off the street or back into this customer down into their dock, and I don't want to get high centered, so let me throw my locker in. Those are perfect examples of throwing in your locker, flipping the switch, locking the differential, and you're going to send equal power to both axles. But we get into certain scenarios where we don't want to get stuck. Most experienced drivers will tell you, yep, been there, done that, had to call a wrecker, and it takes a long time, it's expensive. So let's just anticipate. You got to see it. You know, we talk about not wanting a lot of steering wheel holders out there. Well, one of the things that gets you a label of being called a steering wheel holder is when you get stuck a lot. Most of the time it's new drivers that get stuck. The older drivers, I tell you what, they see it, they say, I'm not going in there, I'll get stuck. Or, you know, they'll throw the locker in and they won't get stuck. So yeah, just anticipate your power divider locking. Throw it in when you're coming up to the area where you're going to need it. And then as soon as you're done, unlock it and you're all set to go. Hey, we appreciate y'all watching. Make sure you subscribe and give us a like. We really appreciate it. And check out our website at www.redneckanize.com and let us know what you think. Send us a line. Keep a shout out, keep in touch, and we'll see you out there on the road.